Hey everyone, I am sorry about the delay on this podcast. I've actually recorded it and deleted it several times. I don't even want to say it's the fear because me and my youngest daughter have been getting threats, and the threats have gotten even more dramatic about me doing this. It's one thing you want to threaten me, but you want to threaten your pregnant daughter. That right there should tell everybody what type of personality you're dealing with, but there's still people who are just gun-ho that he is just this great individual. Apparently tomorrow, Monday, something's supposed to happen to me. I'm not supposed to know about that. They don't even know yet. I guess they will find out that I found out that apparently something big's supposed to happen tomorrow to me on Monday. And as my daughter was told, it's just a threat until it happens. That's what he told her. It's not fear. I'm embarrassed. And that's why a lot of times I never talk about this. I didn't ever want the kids to say that that was their father. I will not deny that. I was embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by him. I'm embarrassed about the life we led. I'm just embarrassed about the whole thing. And that it's been 16 years since I kicked him out that house. And it's still going. And yes, no matter what story you believe, I am the one who kicked him out. In the end, yes, he did get the house. But I am the original one who started it. Yes, he is the one who filed for the divorce. His mommy and daddy paid for the divorce. They paid for the attorney. And as we were leaving the courtroom, well, the hearing officer, whatever they're called, office, are you going to straighten up now? The whole attorney, the filing for divorce thing, all this money he made his parents dish out for was actually a scare tactic. He thought it was going to scare me. He thought I was just playing a big game and that I wasn't going to go through with a divorce. No, I did not have the money for an attorney. I represented myself solo. At the time, I had a restraining order against him. I did agree to drop the restraining order if he agreed to straighten up. Well, that didn't work. That did not work at all. And in a way, I guess I was manipulated by that. But it's, again, everything, this whole thing is an embarrassment. All of it. 29 years of embarrassment. Embarrassment that I've tried to run from. Embarrassment that I've tried to hide. And it keeps coming and coming and coming. There are truths to his stories. There's lies in his story. There's half the story, and that's a lot of it. There's half of the story. Yes. I was abandoned in a trailer park, living in a trailer with 7 stray dogs by myself. He did not find me there. And I don't get where people get what was he doing, wandering around trailer park and just supposedly just approached my house? I mean, come on. He did not find me in the trailer park. But yes, I was abandoned by my mother and I was living with 7 stray dogs. That is true. I cannot be held responsible for my mother's actions. I am not my mother. I have, much as people want to rub that in my face and that, I am not my mother. Plain and simple. I've done proven that. I proved that before I was even a legal adult, that I am not my mother. My little sister was being taken care of by our great aunt. And I will make this perfectly clear, my grandparents did not know this situation. I don't think anybody really knew the situation. I think my great aunt did, because how couldn't she? She was picking me up for school in the morning and dropping me back off in the afternoon, and never saw eye to hair my mother. But in her mind, I was better off without my mother anyway. And in all honesty, it's true. My sister, on the other hand, she had extremely bad epilepsy at the time. And at the time, that's all we thought was wrong with her. Come to find out later on, it was more than that. So at least she did make sure that she was being taken care of by an adult. Because she was only like 9 or 10. I don't want to say she was 9. When all this was going down. Yes, that part is true. The part of his father told him to get rid of me. Yes, that part is true. Why did his father tell him to get rid of me? And how, if I was an adult, could I be abandoned in a trailer park? Because I wasn't. I was a 15-year-old girl. And the reason why his father wanted me out of that house and wanted him to break up with me is because he was a 24-year-old man. Almost 25-year-old man. So yes, some of the story was true. I was abandoned. I lived there by myself. My husband now, his grandmother lived in the trailer directly across from me. She didn't know the whole situation, but she knew that there was not an adult around. From what I got from my husband, who has always been my best friend, he begged his grandma not to call Child Protective Services. He begged his grandma not to tell anybody. I don't know what made her not do it. I don't know what made, I'm grateful she didn't. I'm grateful she didn't. But she did. She was my saint. She fed me. She knew that, and yes, I'll admit straight to it, I was stealing food to eat for me and the dogs. And she caught on that I was walking down that major highway in Covington and going to that grocery store at the end of it. I'm not going to say the name. And I was stealing food for me and the dogs, my family, my 7 stray dogs. I was one of them. I was a stray dog. I will not deny that either. I know sometimes he likes to throw that up. And yes, I was a stray dog. That's why I relate to dogs. That's why I work with dogs that have nobody, because at one point in time, I was one of them. I'm honestly not embarrassed by that. If anything, what I do for a living now and what I am now made me get to know them. In a way, I was studying them, but I was one of them. But she would feed me to help me to stop me from going over there. She would also buy groceries from time to time for me, because I did have power for a little while. I did have power for a few months. At least that part was being paid, was the electrical bill. And the rent was being paid. How, I never saw my mother, but apparently she was going to the landlord and paying the rent on the trailer. And yes, that trailer park is still there in Covington. So yes, here's that story about his father, the story about me being abandoned, the story about him finding me in a trailer park now. The day before Thanksgiving, 1994, I went off with my friends who was going to her boyfriend's house in Metairie, Louisiana. So I went off with them. I didn't have an adult telling me no. I didn't have nobody telling me no. I did what I wanted to. And that's, well, actually was the second time he met me. He actually had met me the year before that, but he didn't even know my name. I didn't even know his name. We met, we were all at a friend's house. And again, his little brother was dating my friend. And they had all piled up over there. And then a year later, I was at his house. He didn't know that I was abandoned. He didn't know anything about my living situation, etc., etc. We were dating for a few weeks before he caught on to, where's the parent? He did realize very soon that I only owned one piece of clothing. I only had one shirt, one pair of pants, one sock, no underwear. When he finally visited me at the trailer, he realized that there was only one bed, there was a sofa, there was no food, there was nothing. And that's when I explained the situation. But he did not find me there. He met me through his little brother that knew me through my friend. And I will be honest, at first he did not know how old I was. I did not know how old he was. Right off the bat, did not know. But common sense. If your little brother is 18, his girlfriend's 16, the other friend is 15, why are you hanging out with all these teenagers? Common sense, you should have known how old I was. If I'm in the same grade as them, go to the same school, why wouldn't I be in that age bracket? Where does that make sense? If he's so smart, and why, again, is someone that age hung out with nothing but teenagers? No one his own age. Why would a 24, almost 25-year-old man want to hang out with a bunch of 15, 16, 17-year-olds? Think about it. Think hard. I'm going to pause for a minute.